Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. After months of delay, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday dismissed Babachir David Lawal as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Also dismissed is the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayodele Oke. Both men were suspended in April after allegations of corruption were leveled against them. A subsequent panel led by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo investigated these allegations and submitted its recommendation to the President on August 23rd. In its recommendation, the panel advised that both men be dismissed from their respective roles. Babachir will now be replaced by Bas Mustafa as SGF, while on the issue of Oke, the President has set up a three-member panel to, among other things, look into the operational, technical, and administrative structure of the NIA. The Nigerian military has dismissed reports accusing the Air Force of being culpable in the killing of 8 soldiers by terrorists last week. In a statement by the Director of Defense Information, John Enenche, the Army slammed reports saying the Air Force refused to provide air support, which could have averted the death of the soldiers in Sansawa village, Yobe State. Enenche maintained the military, the Army, Navy, and Air Force have always been operating jointly in the anti-terrorism war. The military urged Nigerians to disregard the rumor, describing it as ill-motivated. Police in Borno State averted a tragedy on Monday, shooting down 2 female suicide bombers in the state. According to the state police spokesperson Victor Isuku, the 2 bombers were attempting to infiltrate Maiduguri Township from Mafadikwa LGA axis before they were apprehended. Fortunately, no other casualty was recorded and the police has now defused the bomb. The failed attack comes less than a week after the terrorists killed 13 people in multiple suicide bombing in the northeast state. 5 other persons were also injured in that attack. Meanwhile, in continuation of its clearance operation in the northeast, the Nigerian Army on Sunday shot down 2 fleeing Boko Haram members in the state. The terrorists were killed by troops in a routine patrol in Aisaram village, Jubio local government area of Borno State. The troops recovered an AK-47 rifle, a magazine with a single round of 7.62mm ammunition, and 2 machetes. Other items recovered from the insurgents include 2 mobile telephones, 2 hearses, and 7,000 naira cash. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has ordered the federal government to pay the sum of 88 billion naira damages to 9 victims of the Nigerian civil war. The judgment follows a petition by hundreds of mine victims of the war, asking for the removal of remnants of war instruments stockpiled in 11 states of the Southeast, South-South, and parts of the North-Central. The victims also asked the court to compel the government to rehabilitate the areas and compensate them for the damages. On October 24, counsel to both parties filed an application for out-of-court settlement on the ground that they had reached agreeable terms. At its sitting on Monday, the court granted the application, ordering both parties to abide by the terms of the settlement. A federal high court in Abuja has fixed November 1st to rule on the request of former Minister of Petroleum Resources Desiani Alison Madueke to be repatriated back into Nigeria. Desiani, in her application, is asking to be joined in a criminal charge bordering on alleged laundering of 450 million naira, where her name was mentioned. The main defendants in the charge are a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dele Belgore, and a former Minister of National Planning, Abubakar Suleiman. Belgore and Suleiman were charged before Justice Rilwan Aikawa for reportedly collecting 450 million naira from Desiani during the 2015 general elections. However, the Federal Government Council is opposing her request to be joined in the case. Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday met with chieftains of the ruling Progressive Congress at the Aso Villa in Abuja. Some of the APC leaders at the meeting include Senate President Bukola Saraki, Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, National Chairman John Oyegun, and National Leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The meeting comes on the heels of the party's National Caucus meeting slated for Monday evening. The meeting is expected to discuss various issues surrounding the much-anticipated midterm national convention of the party, which had been put on hold soon after President Muhammadu Buhari left for the United Kingdom for medical treatment earlier this year. Earlier, before the president met with the APC chieftains, President Buhari also held talks with Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara. At the meeting, both leaders agreed to strengthen bilateral ties with each other. President Ouattara commended his Nigerian counterpart for his leadership role in the West African sub-region. He also lauded President Muhammadu Buhari's effort in tackling insecurity, especially the Boko Haram insurgency, and pulling Nigeria out of recession. The Ivorian leader also confirmed the Nigerian leader has accepted to attend the African Union summit scheduled to hold at the end of November. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has appealed to the Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai for military intervention to curb herdsmen-farmer clashes in the state. The governor's appeal comes days before the November 1st deadline to enforce the ban on open grazing in the state. The anti-open grazing law bans herdsmen from moving freely from one farming community to another. Violators will serve a jail term of 5 years or fine option of 1 million or both. The Federal High Court in Lagos has granted leave to Social, Economic and Accountability Project (SERAP) to proceed against the leadership of the National Assembly in its quest to the exact earning of national lawmakers. The group is also demanding accountability on the spending of the 500 billion naira budgeted as running costs for the National Assembly between 2006 and 2016. Justice Rilwan Aikawa granted the order for leave following the hearing of an argument in court on ex parte motion by SERAP.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
That's how we roll.
Because then let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
No. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for vendor that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make una only add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has advised the federal government to urgently revisit tax holiday and exemptions given to companies. It specifically urged Nigeria to implement a reform that would see it phase out tax holidays and exemptions, eroding the company income tax base. Successive governments had granted controversial tax holiday and waivers, which were described as forms of corruption. The Washington-based fund also asked the federal government to increase taxes imposed on tobacco and alcohol, emphasizing the need for socially responsible fiscal adjustments based on revenue mobilization. Brent oil slipped but held above $60 a barrel on Monday on expectations OPEC-led production cuts will be extended beyond March, although rising Iraqi exports put a lead on prices. Brent crude were down 1 cent to trade at $60.43 a barrel, while U.S. crude futures were down 2 cents higher to trade at $53.92 a barrel. OPEC, Russia, and 9 other producers agreed to cut 1.8 million barrels per day from January 2016 to clear a supply glut. The pact, already renewed once, now runs to March 2018, but Saudi Arabia and Russia, who are leading the effort, have voiced support for a further extension of the deal. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index appreciated by 0.06%, while the market capitalization appreciated by a little over 8 billion to close at 36,484 basis points and 12.627 trillion respectively. 18 equities appreciated in price, with Total, Fort Oil, Dangote Flour and Cadbury Nigeria PLC leading, while the prices in shares of Seplat Petroleum Development Company, Lafarge Africa, Nigeria Brewers and Dangote Sugar saw a decline, emerging the top losers. The financial service industry led the highest trading chart in terms of volume. First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, Diamond Bank, UBA and Zenith Bank made the top four. A total turnover of 174.957 million shares worth 1.824 billion naira in 3,401 deals traded on the floor of the exchange. Moving on to the international scene now, Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has been re-elected in the presidential poll rerun that was marred by violence and a boycott by the main opposition coalition. Kenya's Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, IEBC, on Monday said Kenyatta won 98.2% of the votes cast in October 26 election. Opposition leader Raila Odinga, who withdrew from the election, received 0.9% of the votes according to the IEBC. There were 6 other candidates who received the rest of the votes. Donald Trump's former presidential campaign manager Paul Manafort has been charged with conspiring to defraud the United States in his dealings with Ukraine. The 12 charges brought against Manafort and one of his business associates, Rick Gates, include conspiracy to launder money. The allegations stem from an inquiry into alleged Russian meddling in the last U.S. election. On to sports stories now. The Nigerian Basketball Federation has commiserated with the family of a former Nigerian basketball star, Daniel Daudu. Daudu was reportedly killed in an accident involving a trailer in Serbia. He was part of the The Tigers in the 2007 World Cup Under-20 Championship. In his reaction, Nigeria basketball chief Musa Kida condoled with the family of the deceased and pledged to provide emotional support. France-based Cameroonian boxer Carlo Takam says he would like a rematch of his heavyweight title clash with Anthony Joshua. Takam lost out on the game after the referee called off the fight in the 12th round. In his reaction, the 36-year-old criticized the referee for stopping the match early, adding he will approach Joshua for a possible rematch. Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer continued their dominance of the 2017 ATP season, remaining on top of the ranking. Nadal is still world number 1, while Federer remains behind his arch-rival. Both men have had a splendid year, winning all 4 Grand Slams in 2017. However, Federer edged closer to the Spaniard on Sunday after winning his 8th Versailles title. Well, that's all on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.